I wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky, drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights, listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? I wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky, drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights, listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Can you hear me?
Drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights, listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? I wanna
Some people think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm free. Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me. Some people pay for thrills, but I get mine for free. Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me. Bonkers. I wake up every day is a daydream. Everything in my life ain't what it seems. I wake up just to go back to sleep. I act real shallow, but I'm in too deep. And all I care about is sex and violence. A heavy baseline is my kind of silence. Everybody says that I gotta get a grip, but I let sanity give me the slip. Bonkers. Some people think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm free. And I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me. Some people pay for thrills, but I get mine for free. Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are we? I hope we're good. First of all, I just need to double check that everyone can see me and hear me. So if someone can just pop a message in the chat to make sure that you can see me and that you can hear me. I know it's unfortunate for you lot, but this is where no one says anything now. Just to wind me up. Love that. Thank you for confirming that, Charlotte. So that's Charlotte from my side. So if somebody that is currently watching Jay's stream, if you can just confirm that you can hear and see me loud and clear, just so that we know that both streams are being covered. Lovely. Love that. Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to mute someone for now. I hope we're well. And yeah, welcome to episode 3 of Viralish, guys. Episode 3. Fucking hell, I didn't think it'd get past number 1, if I'm being honest. Thank you to everyone that's jumped on. Obviously, the main reason for me to do this and get behind this was to not only, you know, have a bit of selfishness to myself to try and do something and build my following up, but also to try and help other people, other streamers and their followers understand the person that they watch every day, where they started, where they come from, tell them a bit more about themselves personally. I have been told that this, I mean, you all know who it is, but I've not introduced him yet. So the next guest is No Holds Barred, guys. No Holds Barred. So we will get to the point where we will get people on the stage at the end to ask some of their own questions and get to know my guest a bit more in depth. If you've got questions for me, even better. I'll answer away as much as I can. Please, all I ask is that you follow me in return. Hopefully more of these come through, and hopefully you get a few more streamers coming on that you want to listen to and find out a bit more about. So please hit that follow button my side, and also from my side over to Jay. Please follow him. Yeah, I think what we'll do, we'll get the introduction in then. So my first interaction with Jay was him scalping me, taking my hair off me in City, which was a very painful scenario, as you can all imagine, guys. So I think what I'll do, without further ado, is I'll bring the beautiful, handsome Scouser onto the stage. Please welcome JayCorn, everybody. Here he is. Can you speak up for us, Mr. Corn? Let's make sure we can hear you. I can hear you. Can everybody hear Mr. Corn okay? No, I'm the copite, not him. Yeah, I don't know if you can turn your mic up your side just a little bit, mate. I don't know if that's possible. Yeah, if you go, just pop into your settings within Stream Together, mate. Click on microphone, and you should be able to improve that gain a little bit. Okay, no worries. Hopefully you guys can hear him all right. I'll turn it up my side just that little.
Hi,
Kev. Jesus, thanks for the follow, Kurt. So, I guess can everyone Can everyone hear Jay or not? I just want to make sure you can actually hear him. Let me try and turn him up. Try it again, Jay. Oh, try now. There we go. I think that's probably done it, guys. I think that's probably done it. Is that better, guys? Could you hear him then? Could you hear his wonderful voice? Because I did have him turned down a little bit. I have. One second. Try again.
Hello.
I think that might be us.
Hi,
That might be us. I'm seeing things move when he talks. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, apologies. I had my chat toggle turned off. Apologies, guys. That's my fault. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to crack on. Jay, are you sat comfortably? Ready for the grilling?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, mate. Listen, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about you, where you've come from. You can by all means tell us how old you are. That's up to you. But give us a nice introduction of who JayCorn is, mate.
So obviously most of you, well, hopefully most of you know me as JayCorn. I'm 26 from Liverpool. I mainly play RP now. Was started off as a FIFA streamer and content creator, but I fully kind of made RP my home, so that's where most of you know me from. You might have seen me in other streams in different scenes in RP as the one with the grey Power Ranger helmet. Is probably what you know me as better than JayCorn, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I've come across that hat a number of times already, as you know.
Yeah.
All right, mate. So listen, what we'll do, let's get into let's step into the past a little bit, shall we? Tell us, when did you start streaming? Hit us with that. Tell us the story of where you thought, oh, I'm going to get a PC and I'm going to do a bit of streaming. So
I think it was August 2020. I was actually looking back the other day at some old stats and stuff. So it was August 2020, and it come out with the blue. To be honest, obviously it was COVID. COVID had pretty much
kind of
hit. Yeah, it hit the year before, I think in the April, and I never had any ambition to get a PC. I always gamed, I always played FIFA, always played COD. Never had any ambition to stream or get a PC or get into any sides of this side of the gaming. I was meant to be going traveling actually in the August of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I had me and my ex-partner, we had it all booked out. We had a route sorted. It was 93 days. We'd saved about, I want to say, in the region of about £11,000 for it.
Jesus.
I'd done it all myself. I was going to go through a company and, go all, whether they put you in a tent for a few days and in a hotel for some other days.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to do it myself. I've always enjoyed traveling. I was thinking at the time of starting my own kind of travel company in a similar sense, where you tell us how many days you want to go for, where you want to go, what areas you want to cover, and we'll do the rest and give you a price. So I booked everything. It was across Europe, starting in Amsterdam and ended in Portugal. And I had like 94 different hotels booked. I had a visa paid for into Russia. I had 8 flights for like the harder countries, so like Sweden, and getting into Russia, getting out of Russia was difficult. And obviously then when COVID hit, it became that if you were going to a new country, you were going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And when we were in certain cities or countries for 2-3 days, we wouldn't have been able to do that, because if we had to quarantine for that long, it would have just pushed everything else further and further back. So we made the decision just to scrap it, try again next year. When we then got to cancelling everything and or trying to move everything to the year after, that's when the issues came. So like we didn't get the visa money back for Russia. A load of hotels were like, well, we haven't got any quarantine here at the minute, so we're not giving you money back. Then flights weren't giving us money back, and we ended up losing about £7,000 out of it. So with the leftover money, that's when I was like, I'm just going to buy a PC and be a gamer.
try and earn it back.
Yeah, exactly. So, I bought a PC. Stupidly bought two like decent gaming monitors, even though I can only game on one of them. I had no idea what I was doing. The PC that I bought wasn't worth the money I paid for it.
Right.
And yeah, I just kind of spent a year playing, gaming on the PC, and then obviously grew up watching YouTube and stuff like that. And then I've always known how like the FIFA side of things have always worked on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd give it a go, and then that's where I started.
Okay, nice. So you start streaming. What were you streaming? Was it GTA straight away, or
I was no, it was FIFA, and it was a little bit of COD as well.
A lot of people tend to start at COD. We had obviously Mimka on the last episode, and that was his bread and butter. No, that's where he started. As well, a lot of people started on console. Streaming from console. So obviously you're streaming COD. Were you streaming COD on PC at that point, I assume then?
Yeah, everything was played and streamed through the same PC.
So what made you pick Twitch? What got you there?
I think obviously again because I was in the FIFA scene quite a lot. As a viewer, I knew that obviously that's where 99% of the viewership was. There was only a select few hand-picked FIFA content creators that were taken over to Facebook,
right?
And they've all since come back and obviously said that they wouldn't recommend it to anyone. And it's easy, you just put your screen onto OBS and press go live. It's pretty simple to do. So, and I'd become part of like quite a big gaming group that we like met a few times and stuff, and everyone kind of helped each other out back then. It was a lot of like follow for follow and all that kind of stuff. So people were always eager to help you start a stream up because they know that at least you did get a follow out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The amount of people that had started streaming because of COVID was, was crazy.
It shot up, didn't it? Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the prices of like the equipment, like the cameras, like tripled in prices. The microphones, keyboards, mouse, all of that kind of stuff tripled in price on Amazon. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I suppose with streaming, I would always say to someone, try and get into it as early and as cheaply as possible to start off with, because mate, we all know how much money we can spend, right? on the money you can spend on streaming stuff is unbelievable. But you can get a really good single PC streaming setup for actually quite decent money. You just got to kind of make sure you've got your heart into it, I think. And I guess that heart comes into it a lot with streaming, because I've been streaming for a long time, but I'd do an hour a month, and it would be when I was doing a bit of dev work on my old server, and that was pretty much my outgo of streaming. I didn't do it for the money; I just did it for the fucking fun of it, more than anything. But I suppose there comes a time, or in fact, was there a time where you were doing the streaming and you started streaming and you were like, "Fucking hell, this is hard. This is horrible. I'm getting a couple of viewers, or I'm getting 7-8 viewers, whatever it is, and I'm not really getting anything from it." And was there a time that you got to that point?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I have been very inconsistent with streaming. I'd have week gaps that turn into month gaps. Then, like, I think over the last year, before November. I think it might have even been a year in between streams. So I
Yeah.
definitely haven't been consistent since I started in 2020. And even to be honest, obviously now with the subathon that I'm doing, I've had points hit now where I've been, maybe it's like a Tuesday afternoon, everyone's in work, and I'm playing COD or something like that when my viewership isn't as high.
Yeah.
And it's just it I try it as much as possible. I'll try and stay away from looking at the numbers, but it's always there in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and
it's hard.
Yeah, and I do. Do you know what? You're absolutely right, because the amount of times that I'm sat in my OBS going, fucking hell, thinking, looking at them viewing numbers and going, oh crap, what the hell?
Yeah.
But you touched on a very valid point there, and Charlotte's just mentioned it in the chat there. It's probably more quality than quantity. Making an effort in that stream, but on the flip side of things, consistency does pay off.
It does.
I am not consistent in any way, shape, or fucking form. Honestly, like I'll get on when I can. We all have kids, we've got family life, we've got work, we've got this, we've got that, we've got dogs, whatever it may be, and it just takes up a lot of time. But
yeah,
I'm going to touch on your subathon now, Jay, because Jesus Christ, how long has that been going for? I don't know kind of how a subathon works, because I'm, like I say, I'm relatively new to the whole streaming element side of things. So first of all, tell me what a subathon is, how it works, and then tell me a bit more about kind of what yours has been up to.
So a subathon is essentially where people subscribe or gift a sub, and it adds to a timer where you are consistently live for that time. Whether it be you might be going to bed, but the timer will pause and it'll restart when you wake up, kind of thing. But it means that you will always be there in the hours that you are awake, basically.
Right, okay.
And obviously, different streamers set different times. You look at. I remember when I think it was Tfue did one. I think his was like 30 seconds per sub, which obviously at that kind of magnitude, when I think he ended up going for over 100 days, and you can just imagine like how many came.
That's crazy,
through.
absolutely crazy. That.
Yeah, it's mental. And to be honest, obviously, I think a large part of, especially the last, let's call it a year, a large part of my streaming journey has been, I'll touch on it a little bit more later on, but a large part of my journey in the last year has been decamping, and what got him out. I mean, he always goes on about how a year ago he was sat on 15 viewers average, and now he sits on nearly 500. So I will always, any time I think of DC in my head, it's his subathon. He did a long time, and was there the whole time. So I've always wanted to do one ever since I've started. I've always wanted to do one.
Yeah,
I think from as a viewer, if I'm watching someone do a subathon, it's like, fucking hell, you put the graft in, you've been here for that long, you've been sat in front of lights with a camera on for that long. Like it's a lot of it's a hard job to do.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I see people doing these 24 hours, even just the thought of that makes me absolutely sick. Just like I can't even comprehend. Like we had Mikey T and Gemsy and a few other people kind of got together for Andy's Man Club, and got 1,300 quid together, which is a phenomenal effort. Great effort. But doing a subathon like that, mate, the amount of times I've clicked on your stream and I'm just seeing the timer going up, but I know, and then I'll see Jay is in bed, play this game. Yeah, mate, it's mental. It takes a lot of effort, so big kudos for you to do that, mate. Jesus, what actually made you think of doing that?
I mean, like I said, I've always. Yeah, I think he's played a big part in it. Well, he's played a massive part in me as a streamer in general. But I think like I said, I've always wanted to do one, even before knowing DC and stuff.
Yeah.
I've always just thought like it should be really cool to do, especially like if I am doing it kind of full time and I don't have to worry about, oh, I'm gonna have to book 2 weeks off work or anything like that. So I think obviously with the timing and with my viewership being, you know, 5-6 times higher than it ever has been, it was a good time to start it. Never thought it'd go on for this long. I'll be honest. I actually started with a 10-hour timer, and I'll be honest, I didn't expect it to go past 24 hours at all.
Right.
And that even that would have been a stretch because I just never thought that, because I started at 4 minutes per sub. I just never thought that I would have enough subs for that 4 minutes per sub to hit 24 hours. Obviously, I know along the line we've had power hours and stuff like that where it's been worth more and things. But I never genuinely thought it'd make it past a day.
Yeah.
And I've always been kind of skeptical, thinking that I'm going to go, you know, welcome to the subathon, guys, and then it hits the 10 hours. And it's like, thanks for watching this not very normal everyday stream. So I was very skeptical about it. And I think just kind of being in a space of bigger creators who have done one or who have supported me, whether it's Clever Dicks, DC, Cav, anyone like that. I think it was just a good time to kind of really grab the opportunity.
Yeah.
And here we are 49 days later.
And you're still going, right? Still going.
Yeah, there is currently a timer of, let me have a little look, 70 hours left.
Jesus. Bloody hell. Well, well done, mate. Kudos to you on that one. Keep it going. Keep it going. Okay, so let's step back a little bit then. So we've, you're on card. You're doing a bit of streaming on Twitch. How the hell did you get into roleplay, GTA? DC
so
again?
One of my close, no. So one of my close mates actually, he's a car head, so he just likes playing like BMNG and stuff like that, where you literally just a car and drive around and drift around, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he always just used to go onto like a free-for-all GTA server and would just drive around in a car and just test different handling the cars. And then he ended up joining a server called RP UK, which is actually where Sally, Frankie, and Jax, who was obviously Penny Pink, were as well. And I never even knew that we knew them until about a week after them coming to uni. And it was just kind of like, oh, he's playing that. We jumped in it. It wasn't very serious RP. It was kind of, I'll always say with RP, there's kind of two types of people who fly into City, and it's the people that want to create scenes, whether it's just for their own entertainment or for maybe the viewers if they're streaming or something. And then there's people that go in there to socialize and speak to mates and stuff like that. Who don't tend to kind of get involved with the bigger creators and maybe get involved in bigger scenes and stuff. Obviously, there'll be times where they maybe don't plan on getting involved in there and getting pulled across into a scene or something like that. But I think there's always kind of a split there where there's people that go in and grind and just do it with the mates because they just want to sit there and talk shit all night, basically. And then there's obviously people who want to create content or be part of content for big creators, anything like that. And I was always kind of just that one that would just fly in just to speak to the lads, and that was about it, really. I'd never get into any trouble with police because I was too scared of going to jail and having to talk to other people that I didn't really know.
How the turns have tabled.
And I was literally just a fly on the wall in most places. You ask obviously Frankie or Penny if they remember me from RP UK, and they'll say no because I was literally just a shadow. I was kind of just stood around doing whatever I was told. And it kind of just went from there. Took a break, but I've always enjoyed RP. We went into a few different places like Manchester, Essex for like a couple of days. Didn't really enjoy it. Went to uni, and that's obviously where I kind of fell in love with RP.
So when did you start at Unique then?
So I started in Unique it was about 12, 13 days before the end of season 1.
All right, okay, so good shot then, good distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I flew in with 2 IRL mates, and obviously with the week, because it was down for a week in between the seasons, everyone was just kind of like, oh well, it doesn't really, whatever we do now doesn't really matter because it's all going anyway, whether you grind or whatever.
Yeah.
So I flew in a couple of times. Obviously, it was just a bit like, well, we can't really do anything because we're not going to have anything when the next season starts, and so it was quite easy to get in at 8:00, and then the 2 IRLs that I played with were like, oh, I'm not really feeling RP. One of them went back to their old server, and I just kind of stuck around. And then obviously the reset happened, and season 2 started, and then kind of went from there really.
So you started as JayCorn, yeah, or someone else?
Yeah, I started as JayCorn. Yeah, okay. Always been JayCorn.
Right. Okay. So you're playing about and stuff. You then start becoming ever so more prevalent in some quite important scenes.
Yeah. So I mean, where do I start?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's touch on probably what you see as your first. Let's call it premium interaction with the city. Let's call it that.
Okay. I mean, I think I started in Munch and Crunch working with Tyrone and Davo.
Okay, no wonder you turned into what you're doing now, Jesus.
yeah, exactly. Bad role models. And I was literally just a fly on the wall in there. No one knew who I was. I mean, I've still got a video saved on my PC from I think maybe the second day, and I was literally just stood behind the till and Munch and Crunch for it's like a 9-hour clip or video, and for 6.5 of those hours, I am literally just stood behind the till in Munch and Crunch. Nice. So that's when I was kind of just doing whatever. I was messing around with obviously Mohawk, and a couple of others back then. Vincenzo Santini was another one. Obviously, he's got different characters like Steel and stuff like that in PD, and UHS. And we were just messing around, really, not really doing anything, just pissing PD off, to be honest. That was it, really. We just kind of flew in to mess around. Obviously, you know what Mohawk's like. He's a fucking lunatic.
But do you know what? He's an absolute character, that lad. An absolute character. Obviously, I've only just come across him because, I don't venture. Well, as of now, I will be, but I used to not quite. Well, I didn't venture outside of PD, but obviously now, Mohawk has come into play, and he's absolutely fucking hilarious. Honestly,
exactly.
The lad is. Oh, I mean, he's already tried to get me cancelled once, the little git. But, but he's brilliant. But so I mean, Aaron's there just put JayCorn the Munch and Crunch Ute. Love that. So you're in Munch and Crunch. You're pissing about. Tyrone's there. When did you start thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I need to branch out on my own a little bit here and do my own thing?
So, obviously, Tyrone kind of moved on, and Munch and Crunch started to become more and more derelict. And you probably go today, and there's no one working there. It's pretty much abandoned. And Scully No Bones came up to me in City and tried to give me work, and obviously, coming from RP UK, where I was scared of getting in the police chase, didn't want to get into any trouble, anything like that, just because I didn't really want to have to speak to anyone else really, other than the people I was comfortable with. So obviously Scully, he gave me 50 bags of weed to sell, and said if you sell them and don't get caught with them, and you bring this amount of money back or whatever, then we'll give you a trial in the kin.
Right.
So I was like, okay, sold them pretty much straight away, give him the money, and he was like, okay, put me into colours, obviously black suit with a green tie. And that's when I kind of started interacting with with the 5 original Kim members, which was Scully, Shorty, Gary, me, and then Warren, who obviously was Pugsy, who was in the Purples.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of where it really started. Obviously, the more and more time I spent in a gang and doing that kind of stuff, the confidence kind of grew with police, and obviously getting away from police, getting into trouble with police, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then kind of just went from there, really. That's kind of where it all started.
You will always be Scully's bitch, Aaron says.
Yeah. He was an op at the time. So yeah, let him say what he wants, because he knows that we had him on strings, so it's fine.
Okay, so we're in there. We're kind of progressing things a little bit further. How long was it until kind of the Mickey Rosary Mr. B thing came into play?
I mean, that's in the, if you're looking at it as a timeline, that's like far down the timeline.
Okay.
Obviously, in between that, I'd left the kin. I'd started my own family. Got robbed from the inside of my own family. Joined Derek and his family, was part of the Des farm with obviously Al Big, Derek, Talia, who else was in there? Ronnie Pickering, Alan Barnes.
Yeah.
And then then the new boosting script come out, and I was just smashing boosting constantly with Billy, Lola, anyone basically that wanted the boost.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I joined the Des fam, I'd stopped doing the gang stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of just became a civ with them. Went to boosting, was still a civ, and then it was only about a month. Well, I then obviously come into running with Mr. B. I'd obviously knew of him. I'd been told by other gang members of the mob at the time, some of the syndicate members at the time, that who he was and what where he was in the food chain, really. And I knew my connection to Mr. B would have been through Derek, because they were quite close in city.
Yeah.
And obviously, while all that kind of was going on, I'd grown a friendship with Rosary. And I mean, me and Mickey aren't friends, and we still aren't friends where we are right now. But I'd obviously grown a very close friendship with Rosary, and that's kind of where the story kind of come from. It was that I knew something was happening, obviously outside the city, and knew that there was a big final scene in the works, kind of thing. And obviously, shout out to Sinners and to Stoker. They were like, "Do you want to get involved in it? Do you want to be part of the story?"
Yeah.
And obviously, when you've got Stoker, who's got millions and millions of views on TikTok alone, and obviously Sinners, who has been smashing it ever since he's obviously I've only ever known him as Mr. B since he come to Unique. I didn't know who he was before he come to Unique. Obviously, he's got Hector as well.
For people that don't know, the Mr. B is the Rosary character.
You're a loser.
You're a loser, Mickey. You're a loser.
Exactly.
And when Mr. B came into play, obviously that was the Mr. B segment, I'll call it. That Mr. B segment was literally right after I joined PD. And that I was brand new to Unique at that point. But again, with Mickey, I found getting quite pally with Mickey and Barlow and Arnott and people like that, and you'd always see them swan off somewhere to this fucking scene, and then you'd look at it next day and it's all over Twitter, and you're like, fuck. Why didn't I fucking stay with him? So I kind of woke up one day and was like, what's going on here? What's this fucking scene? Mickey on the edge of a cliff. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Tell us about that, because that was a massive
So
scene, right? That was huge.
yeah, yeah. It was probably the biggest I've been in. Obviously, um, probably before you were in Unique, there was a scene involving kind of like the Des Fam versus Harmony. Obviously, a couple of big people involved.
Yeah.
DC,
Yeah.
Packet got involved. Clever Dicks. So I kind of had a taste of being involved in a scene that involved a lot of people watching you, basically.
Yeah.
Because you always, as much as like every day you try and RP to your best, you always know when there's someone around you that's got a lot of people watching them. You'd always know subconsciously
yeah.
that I need to make sure everything I'm doing is like top level,
Without a doubt.
and I need to be the best version of what I can be.
Absolutely.
So I was, like I say, I kind of over time just created a bond with Rosary. You know, someone like me is in UHS quite a lot.
Yeah.
Whether it's in cuffs or whether it's just because I can't drive and I mess around.
Can't
so
drive?
She always just called.
Fucking hell,
I can now.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, when I lock in, I can drive. But when I'm just messing around, actually, Aaron shouted at me this morning because I left his car with like one door on it and it needing a service when he woke up this morning. So,
Nice.
yeah, when I'm messing around, my driving is very questionable. But obviously, when the time to lock in is needed, I'm not a bad driver.
I know of it, mate. I know of it. The amount of times shop robbery. Oh fuck, it's JayCorn shit. And obviously, you and Mickey kind of had this, amazing, kind of. You'd bat off each other, and Mickey would be like, "I'll fucking get him this time. I'll fucking get him." Never did, but it was brilliant, mate. Yeah, really enjoyed that type of stuff. Love that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd had it with quite a few officers. To be fair, Luther was another one.
Yeah,
we had this kind of like main character, villain and hero kind of storyline, just in the background, but subconsciously, where you don't even realize it's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the other thing as well, because obviously me being brand new to Unique, brand new to streaming, trying to build a following, trying to build a name for myself. When I then start getting invited to things like that, like that whole thing where me and Mickey were looking for you, asking people questions and stuff, because all that scene had happened with Mr. B, and Mickey had killed him, or did he kill him? All we know is he shot him and he fell off a cliff, type of thing. But that kind of went into the background, and Mr. B went away. You then start a fucking family.
Yeah.
So, tell us the before we move on to that, actually, there is a question for you in the chat. So, who's his favorite RP character he's RP'd with ever, and why?
Tough question, to be honest, because for just sheer laughs and for someone who I've been with at one point I would call every day, where I'd know I'd fly into City and I'd be part of a scene, or I'd just have a fucking laugh. But it'd be Derek, hands down.
Yeah.
The DC, obviously, he's a fucking mad bastard anyway. Outside of being Derek,
the lad's a machine.
You just know that like when he flies in, there's always something to do.
Yeah.
Whether it's a family meeting, or he just always had something to do. He was a magnet for scenes, and it got to the point where like every day I'd wake up and it'd be Guns has tagged you in a video, Unique Clips has tagged you, and you'd just be constantly just scrolling through mentions in videos, comments, follows, and it was obviously what made me do what I'm doing now. And so for that, I think it'd have to be DC and Derek. But at the same time, I think for the more kind of serious side and the more kind of gang related side, which is what I'm kind of more known for is it'd be obviously Badge with Mr. B.
Yeah.
As little kind of interaction as we've had, he's obviously put us in probably one of the biggest storylines in Unique
Yeah.
for me, for obviously for Stoker, for a lot of people, and obviously that's now kind of continuing over where we've kind of moved over and stuff. So it's a hard choice, but I think there's two sides to kind of serious
Well,
RP and
yeah,
messing around.
we'll touch on that, mate. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so you've done this whole Mr. B scene. You've started your own family, Kazoku.
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from?
Obviously, not a lot of people know, but I actually had the Kazoku as a family prior to making it after the whole Mr. B thing.
Oh, what in
we used
in
to wear
Unique?
blue in Unique, yeah.
Okay.
It was about 2 months before, I think. Before I joined with Derek and stuff like that. It was just after the Rogues had left Unique and disbanded. We took the opportunity because they had blue, and I've always like blue's my favorite color. If you couldn't tell,
He's not a red, guys. He's not a red.
I'm not a red. The only thing red about me is the microphone in front of me, which is going in about 4 days. So, I had the family then. Like I say, I had 3 members. I had 4 members, but only 3 in City. On it was a Saturday night, and the 3 members were like basically did given the whitelist gang spot to the Greys instead of us at the time, and we were like, well, we know there's kind of no space. There's 5 gangs already, but we're not going to get in. Obviously, right. I had STK, the Mob, the Misfits, and then the Greys. So there was 4 at the time.
Yeah,
and we knew there was no spots, so kind of everyone kind of took it as a kick in the teeth because we'd been working hard, and obviously, you know, there was a few of us that would stream, and it kind of just felt like we were kind of overlooked, and they basically were just like, we want to leave. 2 of the lads left and just went and joined the Greys on the same night. Obviously, the rule is that you have to have the bleed out scene in City, and they have to forget codes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't in City, it was literally just a ticket, and it was like, kind of, am I all right to leave and go and join the Greys? So they went and left and joined the Greys the same night.
Right.
Because I wasn't here, I was away for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And the girl Jade, who is still in the syndicate, I believe, she was the 3rd one that went. At the same time, she just left, and she didn't join another gang. She just left.
Yeah.
And then obviously I fly back in a few days later.
Yeah.
Go and check the safes and stuff, and like there was like £1 million worth of stuff gone, and you know it was about 70% of our total stuff that was gone. And I was literally, it was mad because I was in the car on the phone to someone. I drove into Munchen Crunch car park, got out and was talking. I literally, I think I mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, they've taken like nearly 900k worth of stuff. And Derek was in Munchen Crunch car park at the time, and he heard me. And me and Derek have always spoke.
Yeah.
We've always, ever since I've known we first interacted, we've been friends. And he literally just said, we'll get them for you. And then that's kind of where I then joined them. And then obviously with that then shut the gang down and stopped.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, when after the whole Mr. B thing, that's when I started up again.
Yeah.
And there was kind of no real reason behind it. I was always kind of waiting to start it again for the right reason. Like, I wanted to do it when the time was right, maybe when a family disbanded or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, the Whites, Grove Boys, like Memsy and stuff, who'd rebranded the Mob, they had just disbanded.
Right.
And I was thinking about it, and obviously Aaron, who plays Ronnie Bank in City, he was kind of out in and out of RP, wasn't really enjoying it, didn't really have the motivation to fly in.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this will give him the motivation. This will have him falling back in love with RP.
Yeah.
And the kind of within the same week, obviously Jeff Jaffa, I'm was very good mates with Jeff in City. We spent a lot of the last kind of month in between Mr. B and making the family together.
Yeah.
We kind of just spent a lot of time together boosting and just pissing around, really. And again, I'd fallen out of love with RP myself. I was forcing myself to fly in.
Yeah.
I was enjoying playing COD with the lads and playing FIFA and stuff like that. So I felt like every time I was flying in, I was forcing myself to fly in. I was flying in to rob a bank or to rob an art gallery or something, and then that was it. Flying out was done.
Yeah.
And then Jeff asked me to join his family. He was now obviously the white. I can't remember what the name of the gang is in City.
That's
yeah. So they asked me to join, and obviously there was Jake, Kelsey, Jeff, and Deacon at the time, and they wanted me as fifth. And I turned around and said, like, obviously where my path has led to, I've led my own gang. I was third in command in the kin, and whenever we have any alterations, anything like that, I'm usually the one that takes charge of a situation.
Yeah.
And to just be offered a spot as a member at the time, I was like, it's not what I want. It's like, if anything, I want my own family kind of thing. And then they were like, okay, well, you can have like top dog, like boss with me and with Jeff and Kelsey. And I was like, even still, like, it's not right. I don't want to. I feel like I don't want to take commands of people that usually when we're in a fight or it's kicking off, they turn and ask me for what to do and what like who's setting up where and stuff like that. So and I think the way I've kind of ran Jason in City is that he's like, the first thing about him is that he's loyal regardless of who he's with at the time. Obviously when I was in the kin, was loyal to the kin until it started to get a bit where Scully went on a bit of a mad one and started hiring anyone and everyone. The time was split. I didn't backdoor the kin or anything. It was literally just, I went up to Scully and said, I was going to hand my green tie back and call it a day. And that's obviously when he bled me out. When I started my own family again, was very loyal to them. When I joined Derek and stuff, again, very loyal to them. So I think the way I kind of went about it in City was that I'm not going to just stop my own family. And I'm going to start my own. And so that's where it all started.
So Kazoku was born. So Kazoku come from a previous gang that you knew. The name
the name was the same gang because it was obviously in Unique, but it was just kind of pushed back and then brought back out.
Because at that point, that's where kind of me and Mickey were going, oh, hang on a minute, there's a new gang. They're all wearing grey. Let's go and grill them. Let's go and find some bits of info out. And obviously that's where the whole Frankie was kind of involved in it. Then she wasn't, and then she wanted to get out of it, and she wanted to join PD, which she did. I think she's still in the chat now. So hi, Frankie. It was so and that was great fun, and I've always respected the RP that you've brought in, because we all know that a lot of people in gang can be arseholes. They can, not respect the RP that's involved in it, not carry things on, and not want to think about the RP that's being seen from the other angle. Whereas I will sit here and put my hands up and say that you've always considered the RP from the opposite side. which is
Yeah.
refreshing from a gang member, because it's all good and well robbing a shop, and we're not robbing shops. TikTok, by the way, this is a game. Um, robbing a shop, jumping in a car that we know is fast, that we know's got a good driver behind it, and then next minute he's fucking disappeared, and that's it. It's done with. You've done a chase for 5 minutes, and then you're gone, type of thing. You've always then kind of pinged us a message or said, or me, or you've come back so that we can kind of see where you are again, so we can carry it on. And that's where I think that whole Mickey, doing the chasing, and you being a good driver as you are, and knowing all the jumps, and I mean that jump that goes over the highway, and you latch onto the billboard and come off the other end. I mean,
Yeah.
but like you must spend endless amounts of hours in the city just driving around, going, "Oh, there's a lump there. Let me jump it and see where it goes."
I think it's a large part of that comes from TikTok, to be honest. There was a period of time where my TikTok was literally just want to get away from the police on RP, watch this jump, and then I'd wake up the next day and go, oh, I remember that from last night, let me go try it. And obviously now it's just kind of embedded in my mind where there's a route that I'll take.
Hello, Mimka, by the way. Good to see you, mate.
Hi,
Thanks
Cap.
for joining. And it's great, mate. And the RP that's been involved with yourself. Obviously, I've had a couple of scenes with you on my own, and with Mickey as well, and with other people. And it's always been a great laugh, and it's been really fun to be involved in that type of stuff. Because obviously, being a new streamer and being new to Unique, it's always it's quite hard to get involved with the right people. But I'm also that type of person that doesn't want to just follow someone around because I know they're a streamer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. I think a large part of my when I'm RPing, or when I'm choosing who I RP with, I think a large part of it is where are they currently at in city, whether they're a streamer or not.
Yeah.
Like I say, when I was, especially when I was picking like members for the family, obviously Aaron, my right hand man, Ronnie, he was in a position where he wasn't enjoying flying in. He never really had anything to do. It was just kind of fly in, see a billion owner who was awake, and fly out kind of thing if they weren't.
Yeah.
So I always try and kind of consider the people around me and how it affects them. Obviously, a large portion of my members that were either in the family for some time or still in the family were BJ's workers, because a lot of the time you'd go in and they'd be stood around, and there'd be 5-6 people stood there, and obviously only 3 bays to fix a car, and it'd just be a constant roll of what you're lucky.
I think being that far up at the top of the city as well, it kind of separates you away from the hustle and bustle of the city, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of like, I know these people are maybe not enjoying the city as much at the minute, so I'll get them involved, and then obviously you see some new people come in, and then you might have like a tiny little interaction with them, but you think, well, actually they put effort into that, and they haven't just kind of brushed it off. And that's when, obviously, like yourself, where we interact, whether it's you on your own or you would make or whatever. So I think it's first impressions is very important.
Yeah, definitely. And I can only vouch for Mimka on that, because Mimka does exactly the same thing. He would drive into cruising and go and ask Hugh if he wants to go and do an art gallery or something like that. By the way, massive congratulations, Mimka, on partner, mate. Well done, well deserved.
Congrats, Mimka.
You're absolutely right, mate. So let's get into the nitty gritty now, Jay. Let's ask that elephant in the room. You're no longer in Unique.
Correct.
So tell us what's happened there. Tell us kind of the method. Not the method behind the madness, because obviously it's clearly not madness in your eyes. So, why? What's gone on?
I
Did your
don't
time
think
just
there
come
was a
to an end, or?
particular. Well, I think obviously, Jason has been in Unique since what,
Just
August,
before
when
season two, yeah.
the the season 2 wipe was. So he's been there since August, and I don't think there's a house that hasn't been robbed, a shop that hasn't been done, an art gallery, a bank that I haven't done with Jason.
Hmm.
Um, I'm very well known from PD, put it that way,
Yeah,
and I think as a civilian doing just kind of day to day stuff, I think there's nothing more that Jason can do.
yeah,
He's worked in Harmony, BJ's, Munch and Crunch. He's done pretty much everything there is to do as a civilian. And then obviously that's when, like I say, like we touched on, I'd made the family again, and had another shot at Gang RP in Unique. And obviously that's when we were then a competition with the whites, with Jeff,
yeah.
and it kind of just felt a little bit one-sided
Hmm.
in terms of how they were getting certain opportunities. I obviously, I get kind of in the back of my mind, I kind of know why,
Yeah,
but it's hard to say why really.
yeah,
Um, I'll never badmouth Unique. Obviously, they built everything
yeah,
I've now. I've met obviously a lot of amazing people in Unique, and there's no one really that I'd turn around and say, oh, I don't like them. I hate them.
yeah.
Like
And
everything in
I guess
RP is RP.
yeah, and I guess it boils down to timing. Um,
Yeah.
Being on the gang side of things, as some people may or may not be aware, you can only have a certain amount of gangs. You've got to have a certain number of people in the gang, and it takes time to get whitelisted. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of building a rapport with the owners of the city, and kind of getting their trust type of thing. And I guess when there's already a good number of gangs in the city, it's always going to get a bit tough, and kind of dog eat dog, I guess, is probably the best way to put it. So you left, or you decided to leave. Did you get any stick? Was there any bad mouthing or anything like that? I
Um,
hope not. But obviously, I know, I know straight away that 5M is a very, very toxic area, or it can be. It can be a toxic area, depending on where you go and who you're involved with and all that type of stuff. Um, I've I've ran cities. I've been part of big cities, and there is a lot of unniceties in 5M, and there's a lot of people that take in city stuff out of city, because what we all need to realize is this is a game, guys. It's a getaway for people. It's a getaway for someone to just step out of their life for a little bit and just do something a bit different. And people play arsehole characters. So look at Tyrone. Tyrone is an absolute get when it comes to him interacting with PD. Well, that's his character. That's who he is. And he'll. My first interaction with him on an interview was just the abuse. He kept calling me Mimka because he knew it pissed me off. He was like, "Shut up, Mimka! Shut up, Mimka!" Like he does. And some people would go, "Fucking arsehole. Why is he doing that? What's he being like that for?" And then they'd take it out of City and go in DMs and all that type of stuff. So I'm kind of what I'm asking here is what was your experience like? Obviously, building up that rapport and all of that work that you put into Unique to then go, I'm stepping to another ladder, guys.
I think, I mean, the gang scene is very toxic anyway.
Yeah,
There's a lot of egos that people don't like losing, don't like taking a knock on.
yeah,
Um, the gang scene got to a point where, so obviously back when I was in the gang scene was very egotistical. massive egos that was you had to make sure everything you were doing was right, because if it wasn't, you'd wake up to someone shouting at you for the gang being put in a ticket, or a strike. It then kind of went a little bit better after multiple people went and stuff. It got better, became less toxic, less egotistical. People were just doing it for the content, really. It then got to, obviously, when the second time round of making the Kazoku, it was good for the first few days, and then it just got a little bit too toxic. I'm not one that likes to take anything out of City. I'm not. I like to switch my PC off and go to bed and forget about what I'm doing.
Apart from when you're in a Subathon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I know I've got to wake up and do it all again. But I'm just someone that likes to just, what happens in RP stays in RP.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I'm answering questions to people that I shouldn't be having to answer, basically.
Yeah.
Asking me, like, oh, what am I doing at 28 hours, 7 minutes and 36 seconds into a stream? Why have I looked down at my phone? Are you metagaming? Are you power gaming by it? And it's like, if you've got time to sit there in City for 10 plus hours a day, to then come out of City and VAR check someone's stream for when I'm live for this long, and then nitpick stuff, and then again have even more time to put a ticket in, and then obviously it's just not it's not what RP is about.
No.
Don't get me wrong, tickets they should be made if someone's doing something wrong, and if it's affecting people in the wrong way, whether someone's watching a stream or whatever, or just providing bad RP in general. I'm a firm believer that, if the RP is shit, put it in a ticket and get them gone. Give them a chance to fix it.
Mate, honestly, it happened to me earlier on today, and it was my first experience when I've sat there and gone, I need to raise a ticket here because this is bad. But he was calling an officer a NONCE, and referring to Philip Schofield, him doing this and him doing that. And I was like, right, that's enough now. Saying that one comment can turn someone's mind into a really bad place. So
exactly.
I do get it, mate. I do get it. Absolutely, you are right.
Yeah, and obviously, at the end of the day, it's a game. People are meant to enjoy playing it, and when I'm sat there after stream, knowing I'm going to be back sat on stream in 6 hours time once I woke up, and I'm sat there thinking, oh, did I do that right? Well, when Storm happened, did I come out with that stream? Did I make sure I wasn't in that stream or whatever? And you sat there thinking about stuff like that. It's a game, and you shouldn't be having to do that.
No, absolutely.
So I think the large part of the toxicity was from the gang scene,
right?
And I think a lot of people will always say, "Oh, what happens in RP stays in RP," and there'll be this kind of, "Oh, I still love them really," on whether it's the talking to the viewers or just in general. But then behind closed doors, they're really not. They've taken steps to make sure that that person knows that you don't like them, kind of thing. And it just
no need.
To me, it just got tiring. It just got tiring. I don't have the energy for it. I might love the drama in City, but out of City, I want anything but drama. I just want it.
People don't see it, do they? I think that's the downside.
No, exactly.
To 5M, but so obviously we're no longer in Unique. You're over in Revenant now. Have you gone over there as JayCorn, or are you starting something different? So JayCorn.
No, so I have gone over as JayCorn.
Hi, Cap.
The helmet hasn't quite come over with me just yet. But yeah, I have gone over as JayCorn.
Yeah. Sorry, we just got raided there. Thanks for the raid, Shadow. Really appreciate that. So okay, so let's talk about. Sorry, just want to make sure I give Shadow an announcement. Saw that in a minute. Okay. Better now. Things calm down a little bit. Things nice, fresh start. Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Because
yeah.
I know
I
a
haven't
few
had
people have gone over
any
there.
issues.
So have you kind of
Yeah,
carried the
there's
story on, or have you started something new, or?
no. So the storyline pretty much is a continuation, really.
Okay.
Luckily, kind of everyone that's gone over there, I've kind of all just agreed to just carry on as if we know each other.
Okay.
It was a bit shit when I was trying to get a gun license and they were saying, "No, you're a criminal." When obviously I had a clean record. But obviously I've met Mr. B in City. He's, you know, we've kind of picked up where we left off.
Okay.
There's been there's a storyline cooking. Mickey's had a conversation with Jason and said, like, is he still alive? Can you confirm he's still alive? Do you think I'm crazy
All right. So I
if he is
suppose
still alive?
that's quite different. That's probably a bit refreshing. So it's almost as if you've literally all caught a plane and moved over to America
Yeah.
and kind of
Yeah,
carried on from there. Oh,
pretty much.
that's good. I mean, I guess it
Yeah.
kind of helps carry on that relationship that you've got with the likes of Mickey and Sinners and all that type of stuff with Mr. B.
Yeah.
Nice. No, well, mate. Honestly, I hope it goes really well, and I'd love to see you back in Unique at some point. Hopefully, it happens in the future.
Mhm.
If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'd love to see you over there again, mate, and RP with you in the future. Your RP has always been great from my perspective, and I'm sure everybody else that's in the chat. Please throw out some W's for Jay's RP over the last 9 months, something like that, 8-9 months.
Yeah.
I suppose the next question really is, where do you see yourself going then? So what do the next 5 years look like, mate? Where do we see? His RP is shit.
Shut up, Adam, mate. Honestly, can't stand him. I have to deal with him. But he's like, honestly, he's one of the worst people to be around as well. Anyway, so I mean, to be honest, my goal isn't even anything to do with gaming.
Okay.
My main goal is what I really want to do is I want to just travel the world and vlog it, basically.
Okay.
That's my ultimate goal, is
Kinda
to be able to
style.
financially, kind of, yeah, pretty much just go book a flight somewhere and just record everything I do, basically,
Okay.
and get paid for it. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Are you working now, or do you do this full time? I'm assuming you do.
I'm doing this full time.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't do a subathon and
I don't really have a choice.
go and clock on.
I have to start recording, streaming off my phone.
Nice, mate. Well, everybody's got to have their aspirations, right? Everybody needs to go somewhere. Everyone needs to have a goal in life, I think, even if it's something small, something big. I mean, traveling the world, mate, it's absolutely massive, and I certainly don't think I'll get the ability to do that until I'm a very old man. Yes, I'm already old.
Yeah.
To all the twats that are out there that know my age. I've got a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old, so it's a while off for me to be able to do that. But
yeah,
mate, go for it. Absolutely go for it. And I'm the person that you are and the outlook that you've got in life, mate, I'm sure you'll do that relatively quickly.
Fingers crossed.
I think I'm going to finish off on one last question, and then what we'll do, we'll get it over to the chat, and we'll see if we want to get anybody up for some questions or chats or whatever it needs to be. What's the best what's the best bit of advice you would give someone that's starting out, starting streaming, starting RPing, whatever you want it to be?
I think that for streaming wise, and it's going to sound very cliche, but it's be consistent.
Yeah.
I always used to obviously listen to the bigger streamers say it. I always used to think, you've got to bring something if you're not if even whether you're consistent or not, you have to have something about you. You have to be loud. You have to be in your face. You've got to be screaming all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not. I've seen myself that if you're consistent, people will respect you. That you're always there.
Yeah.
When maybe not when you always say you are, because I am very well known for being late all the time. But as long as you are there, most days, the days that you say you are, then people will respect that.
Yeah.
If you're just throwing a stream on every few weeks or whatever, then people you're not giving people a chance to get used to you.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously
Absolutely.
I know a bit of different circumstances now for me with obviously the subathon and stuff, but everyone knows that I'm live all the time right now.
Yeah.
And everyone can will know that if they open up Twitch, they will know that I'll be there.
Yeah.
So if people get into that routine of going, oh, it's 6 o'clock, I'm cooking my tea, let me open Twitch.
Yeah.
Jay's going to be there.
Jay will be on, yeah.
And if that was every single day, then people will follow that routine.
Well, yeah,
you will become part of their daily routine.
You become part of somebody else's routine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, as cliche as it sounds, is just stay consistent. Make sure that you are going live on as many days as you possibly can, and then obviously kind of if it's RP that you're streaming, is be ready to step out of your comfort shell, your comfort zone. I have grown massively in my own confidence, on stream, in RP, in everyday life.
Yeah.
Through being, through joining RP. Like I say, when I first started RP, I was a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
And now I'm part of, a large part of a city when I go there, whether it's unique,
Yeah.
the amount of messages and comments and chat, obviously, because I've not left this desk in a long time, of just the same message is you're going to be missed when you leave our unique. And I think it's a large part of that is just kind of growing in your own self-confidence and being you think you might, oh, I'm not funny, or no one wants to listen to me or whatever, but the more time you spend just being yourself, and giving yourself that confidence just to relax in front of people, whether it's Tyrone or whether it's Cav, DC, anyone, just be yourself. Don't put a show on, because you're only going to burn yourself out doing that. Whether you're streaming or not, you're only going to burn yourself out by putting a show on. Obviously, if you're playing a character, then that's fair enough. But if you are just being yourself in City, then just be yourself. Don't try and be this perfect picture that you want to paint out to everyone.
Yeah, and I think the probably something else that's worth saying as well is be open to change. I think with role play, you'll get a lot of feedback, positive, negative, of people saying maybe you should do this or maybe you shouldn't do that. Always be open to change, because at the end of the day, I think that they're watching you, right, and they can. All you can do is take feedback from people that are watching you, and having that willingness to change and do what you need to do is, it's vital, I think. No, great feedback there, mate. I really appreciate that. Great advice. So everybody, we've come to the fun part. Well, hopefully it's all been fun, but I've turned viewer call-ins on, guys. So we're at that point where if you want to come up and just say hello or say goodbye or ask a question, whatever it needs to be, call in. I hope someone calls in. I think Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron certainly sounds like he's got a voice or two on him, so maybe
No, let's.
maybe he needs to.
I'd actually just tried to ban him, but it wouldn't let me.
Oh right, nice, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So call-ins are open, guys. We'll keep them open for the next 5 or 10 minutes. Someone have the balls to come on up and say hello, or ask a question or two. There must be one or two that people want to ask, or even me. Yeah, I'm a lonely old guy, so ask me a question by all means. Nathan, Jay, mate, I'm in your streams because I know I'm going to have a good time, and it's a nice escape from really, because we get a good laugh. Nice comment. Yeah, and I think that's the stuff that.
That's the reason you do it.
Exactly that. And, you know, when people come to me saying, "Kyle, fucking hell, that was so funny," or you know that what you did there was hilarious, or this, that, and the other. It was, it's just nice to hear, and I think it gives, especially when people are trying to come away from that life of normal busy life and want to come into RP and separate themselves from reality, if you like. Hearing nice comments like that is always nice to hear. Shadow Chaos, why are you so sexy? Who the fuck is that? Sorry, mate, go on.
I think obviously that kind of touches on, again, kind of why I did the subathon. Really, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you know, but obviously we did the 24-hour stream on Christmas Day as well last year.
No.
Yeah, so we did a 24-hour stream on Christmas Day. I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning on Boxing Day right through till
Jesus.
Obviously 3 o'clock in the morning on all the way around Christmas Eve to Boxing Day.
Yeah,
and I think a large part of what I do, especially, is I'm never going to sit here and say I don't do it for the money.
Yeah,
because I always believe that everyone is streaming for the money, because it doesn't mean it's your sole reason, and it doesn't mean that it's wrong.
No,
but I think you're not going to do it otherwise. But I always like to kind of just think, what can I do to have more eyes on me, on what we're doing. And I think obviously Christmas time is a tough time to be part of Twitch, because a lot of viewers, a lot of gamers are people that kind of don't usually live the kind of structure and normal lifestyle that most people live.
Yeah,
because most people don't have time to game.
No, absolutely not.
So we're privileged in some ways that we have got the time for this, and we have got the possibilities to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is times where maybe being on your own or whatever is a bit of a burden, and obviously Christmas is one of those days. For myself, I kind of don't have that normal family structure. There's your usual kind of Christmas days is where you go to a family's house, there's 10, 20 of you all sat around the table having a laugh and that kind of stuff. But then you don't really ever kind of have that time or thought for the people that maybe have fallen out with family, or maybe don't just have that family structure and are spending that day on their own. So I again, with the subathon, it's more, where will this help me in the future? Yeah, in terms of helping entertaining more people, as opposed to the monetary value. Albeit shout out to Leaf Davis, who has provided a large part of that monetary value. But in general, it's more kind of where this will help me, and then in turn help more people.
No, definitely. I mean, let's just read what what's put there. It's not a question, but I just want to thank you, Jay, because as a person who doesn't really get out much due to anxiety and depression, seeing Jay live and having someone there is enjoyable to watch and engaging. It helps a lot, and obviously finally meeting you in Revenant and giving me a chance to not to be a fly on the wall like I have in other cities. I do appreciate it. Nice words. And again, that's probably why he's there. That's probably why he's doing it. To get the comments like that, and
exactly why.
give back to the community and stuff. So, Clay Carl says, "All right."
Hello, Carl, mate.
So, listen, we're at 20 past midnight. I've kept you for long enough. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Jay. Doing this, taking the time out. I respect it. I'm very thankful for you entrusting me in delivering something like this to all of your followers and all your people.
No, I appreciate it. It's I'm thankful you asked me. Obviously, you've had people like Mimka on, so to be kind of considered alongside people like that is it's a privilege.
Absolutely. No, I thank you very much, mate. And I think everybody, if you've kind of stepped in halfway through or you've stepped in at the end, I will instantly publish this on my VOD. Jay has been streaming this on his as well, so you've kind of got the two elements there. If you want to come back and look at it, Carl has said that it helps with his mental health as well. So it's mad because a lot of people say that. There's a lot of people that don't play the city as well that just watch people to get them out of it. It's mad.
A large part of your viewership is people that don't play city. Yeah, because obviously, if they play City, most of the time they're going to be with you or in the city. So
exactly.
I think that part of it, you forget that you're helping people that don't even play the city.
Yeah,
they just sit and watch you all day, and it's
absolutely
it blows my mind.
Yeah, it feels like a privilege, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and Carl's put there, it's just a shame you're an Everton fan, and I'm going to absolutely echo that, to be honest.
Call me. You're banned.
He wants you banned. What's your thoughts on the new stadium, mate?
Have you been yet? The name, I have not been. I was meant to go to a test event, but it was a Monday night, and it's an absolute ball ache for me to get back from Goodison on a Monday or a weeknight game.
Yeah.
So I just swerved it off. But I've already guaranteed. I've given my season ticket up this year. Well, it's still technically in my name, but I won't be going. But I have guaranteed tickets to the derby next season. So
very nice, very nice. It's going to look great in the championship, says Bengino.
Yeah, well, Bengino, his club was a nobody until they finished. Where are they now? 5th, Notts Forest. You're still nobody's, mate. Don't worry. He'll be back in the championship in a few years, mate. Don't worry.
That's brilliant. Listen, mate, thank you very much, Jay. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege. Hopefully, I'll see you very soon, pal. If I don't, keep up the great work. Enjoy your time away, and I'm always there if you need it, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll bump back into you in Unique at some point. Like I said, when I was leaving,
I certainly hope so, mate. I certainly hope so. It'll be nice to get back out there, mate. So, listen, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like I say, I'll publish the VOD straight away. So if you've missed anything at the beginning or the end or in the middle, you can watch it straight back. But thank you all very much for your time. Have a great morning, great day. I'm off to Monaco. See you later.
Well, for some minutes, chat.
See you later, lad.
See you later.
Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me. Some people pay for thrills, but I get mine for free. Man, I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me.